Alrighty then, here we go. I remember the camera this time. So I'm not going to film all this, but I need to grind weld preps on all my pieces. There's the rest of them over there. And it's just a whole lot of grinding. So since these are structural, loading ramps, I want the welds to get as deep as they can get. So that's the reason for grinding the bevel onto the ends here, so you can get rid of this material. When you're welding, this is your penetration depth, so the more you cut off of here and the deeper you get the wire in there, the thicker the weld will be. So like I said, I'm not going to film all that. I'm just using the Harbor Freight grinder and bevel all the pieces, and I'll come back when that step's done. Alrighty then, so got my preps ground in. So here's the design situation. So these pins are on the trailer. Those are the hinges, and I got 3/16 wall, square tube, and it does fit loose. I need to straighten these pins, I get that, but when the ramps are in use, they're going to be on the pins. And here's my fixture that I'm going to be using to weld them up. So be right like that air, and just need to put these pieces together and square them up, tack them up. Got all those spars over there, so they'll go incrementally along the length there like a normal ramp, and that'd be about it. So that's why this joint needs to be so strong and well prepped, is because the torque that's being put on the end face of the angle. So that's not the strongest direction for angle, but square tube I'm not worried about. But I might even put another slat right in here to stitch weld it to the square tube along the bottom too. So we'll see. Alright then. Alright, so point to note, I just thought about this as an afterthought, but so these pieces are going in like this, as they come down, and then my plan was, or I counted them to include one for the, which way am I facing here? One for the end, to kind of give a lip down to the ground or whatever. But I cut them all the same length at 12 inches. And I should have allowed for the thickness of the material on either end. So I need two of them that are 12 3/8 for the end caps. No big deal. Like I said, I got plenty left over, but forgot to take that into account. I did take it into account for the square tube, but I had already cut these. Alright, so here's another point. The direction of the point on the slats will make a difference for convenience and longevity. Well, let me explain. So the ramp will work either this way or this way structurally, okay, and it'll fit in the pocket either way, okay, the pocket on the trailer. What comes into play, the convenience part, is the angle is radiused on the inside, and to fit properly, the points have to be ground off from the saw cuts. So if I go this side down, I have 4 points to round off. If I go this side down, I only have 2. So I just got to ground that point off to fit into the radius. So the longevity part of it is rain and moisture. When these are in the pockets on the trailer, you don't want this up because it'll fill and hold water. You want this pointing down. So decide on what side of the ramp is up. Like I said, structurally, either way will work. By the time you get done welding this stuff in, it's all a square frame anyway. But I'm going to do mine this way and use the flat side of the angle. Basically just to maybe take it easier on the tires or something. But in this position, you'll weld on the inside. If you've done them the other way, then you're welding on the outside. Okay. And as I said, structurally either way is fine. You have about the same amount of weld either way. You just don't want them holding water. And you take into consideration the amount of time it takes to prep and weld and all that stuff. So, all right, Dean. There must be something going on along those edges there. We grind those out, clean it up. So I cleaned everything before I started welding, but that's ugly. So those got to come off. Oh yeah, finally went fishing. But come on, what's going on? Oh man. Oh geez. Oh, for crying out loud. Everywhere I look, more stinking trailers. Alright, so I'll give you the walk around on this one. It used to be red. We all know what happens to red paint down south. So it'll have to be cleaned up, painted. This fender just, a little bit of spackle right there to fill the gap. Put new tires on it just now. So the bearings are okay. No brakes on either axle. So we'll have to talk about that. See if we want to put them on there. 5-foot ramps. Slide in the back. Diamond plate. So little sag right there is the only warpage I see. The deck looks good. It'll clean up good. So, right here, I think the car pulling this got in a wreck. And tweak those cross members a little bit. I'm going to try putting a 4x4 and a jack on this one. See if I can just straighten out a little bit. It pulls fine. Just thinking aesthetics when we put the for sale sign on it. So this kind of worn out. It's tight to turn. I don't know if it's fixable or not, but if it's not, then just cut the welds. Don't cut this. Cut into here. Remove this. These are cheap. They're just like 20 bucks. So no big deal. Got these little wheel stops. Box tube. So they cut it out back there. Right there. I don't know why. but it's open on this end, so there, open on this end, so it's not holding water or anything. So and it's got these thick angles here. I'm not sure what that was for, but I don't know. You just keep people from driving off it, I guess. But anyway, it's a solid trailer. It's a C-channel, cross members all the way back, which I like, I love. Okay, so before I forget, in case I forget to tell you while we're together, this bolt pattern is like 5 by 4 3/4, and this bolt pattern is like 5 by 4.5. So these wheels are not interchangeable, and the reason I checked is because brakes. This trailer has brakes on both axles, and my idea was to swap hubs from the front axle of this one to the rear axle of that one, but that won't work because the hubs determine the bolt pattern, and we're not going to have two different sets of wheels on one trailer. So, but let's see, I don't know what those are. These look like 4.5. But that trailer ain't going nowhere. That's mine. That trailer mine's. I'll have to superimpose the fish I caught Sunday. Freshwater drum. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but it was pretty good size. So what I'm going to do is cut this off back here. It's been banged into. This is bent. I got a new piece over here laying on the floor, so I'm just going to cut this one out and replace it. And that was pretty much it for this trailer. I don't know if I'm going to pressure wash or not. You know, I might let you do something. But yeah, this will need fenders too. They're still there, but beat to hell. So that one's not too bad, but still bad enough. Alright then, I gotta turn the radio on. I can't stand it. What the hell are you guys looking at? Oh. with the ground up. Bigger compressor now. Well, I got a piece of it anyway. I'll do some grinding, some, what do you call it? I don't know, some fine work. Alright, there it almost is. There's a weld underneath. I do the grind out from there because the C channel overlaps this, this angle overlaps that angle, and I can't leave that piece in there. So I gotta get underneath there, grind that weld out. That's just along this leg on each end, and then they'll be off. You see there, everything loose. But I'm sitting here on my stool contemplating the best way to put another car hauler on top of this one, because the axles are the same width, which means that the tires are outside of the rails. So I guess I just have to get some wood and build up a I'm tired. It's not a cradle, a bunk. Yeah, so build up a bunk to get the other axles above the fenders of this one, which will be, I think, like 14 inches or so. So that's gonna suck. I don't really want to put that other trailer on there that high, but the only other thing I can think of that would squash it down would be to take the axles off, and I don't want to do that either. Oh well. If I drank beer, that's what would be happening right now. But, oh, I can go get another Coke though.